Hi, welcome to my video series on the heroine's journey. My name is Susanna Liller, and I'm here to help you find your happiness. I wanted to share with you my spiritual tool that I use when times are difficult and when I'm feeling troubled, and what I use to help people as I coach them on their heroine's journey, on their journey of life. And it's called Circle Power. I wrote a book about it called Circle Power Connecting to Something Greater. Because as I've helped people bring into their lives what they've been looking for, what they're seeking, their vision, responding to a calling, they have said to me that they start out and then they're surprised that oftentimes something else comes into play, almost like a partner. So this is where they see synchronicity and serendipities and coincidences. And it's, how do you explain it? How do they make sense of it? And I think that's because when we open up and take the time to acknowledge that perhaps there is something that comes to help us, then something else does come into play. People will say, a door opened unexpectedly. Things just came together. I met the right person who could help me just at that time. And I don't know how that happens, but I do know that intention has a part to play in this for sure. And acknowledgement that there is something other than what we see that comes to help us. And I just call it something greater. There's all different names for it, and you can call it whatever makes sense to you. If it's the divine or God or the Tao or energy, however you want to label what really is inexplicable. Sometimes life just gets really hard. And I think that in the world today, there's been a lot of those moments for people. There's been a lot of those moments all the time for people, but I don't know. It seems lately there's more than ever. So, what can we do about it? I think that one of the easiest things is to help you find a way to redirect your thinking instead of awfulizing or focusing on those things that you can't control, that you can't change. Then what can you do and how can you focus it on something different that might help you? And so that's how I use the circle and what I've always used it for. There are different ways to do it, there are different approaches or understandings, but primarily, very simply, what you put in the circle is what you want to come to you, what you want as your intention, what you want as your focus, not all the things that you're not looking to come into your life. I like to start by just reading to you this wonderful quote because the circle has always been in Indigenous people, in way down through history, it's been a sacred symbol. The term mandala means circle. And you know how people use the mandala to focus and to get calm and to express their spirituality. Well, here's a great quote from Black Elk, who was a Oglala Sioux holy man. And he was interviewed by John Neihart and in a book called Black Elk Speaks. And this was a quote from that book from Black Elk. You have noticed that everything an Indian does is done in a circle. And that is because the power of the world is round, always works in circles, and everything tries to be round. The sky is round, and I have heard that the earth is round like a ball, and so are all the stars. The wind in its greatest power whirls. Birds make their nests in circles, for theirs is the same religion as ours. Even the seasons form a great circle in their changing and always come back again to where they were. The life of a man is a circle from childhood to childhood, and so it is in everything where power moves. So to me, when everything is sort of whirling around us and seeming dark and hopeless, let's just get simple and let's look and use this same circle concept to see if we can bring some light into our world, into ourselves. And my hope is that everybody that can do this, it changes their vibration from one of depression to optimism, or at least raises that vibration. And then everyone around them will feel that because everything's energy. And it will help. It will help lift in the corner of the world where you are. So here's some things just to use as assumptions. As I wrote about this and speak about it, I say these things that there is something bigger than you, a greater consciousness. And it doesn't have to be, I don't mean it's separate from you. I think it's all connected within you. Maybe it's like the glue that holds us all together. It doesn't have to be something higher and you're lower, but we're all equal and we're all connected with this thing. But it's not you, it's like the ocean and you're the wave. So it can be intuition, your higher self, inner wisdom, great spirit. Again, however you, the God molecule, however you want to describe it, there's something. And you are connected to this something, and every moment it's your divine spark. It's what makes you a spiritual being. And you need to have the connection open for it to fully work, even if it's just a crack. So being open to, okay, there is something. It's not just me and the things that I can see. And when the connection is open, I would say to you, and it's acknowledged and flowing and clear, not full of what's not working in your gripes and unhappiness and complaints, then what you put into that circle as a wish, as an intention, I believe the chances of that coming to you are quite great. And is this an easy thing? No, but it's really about directing your thinking. So opening your connection to something greater takes work, but it can be done. Just being aware that this is a necessary part of creating your life and your happiness is a big step in the right direction. So it's a metaphor. And how I describe it, I say, think of your consciousness, that very inimitable part of you that's indefinable, but it's your unique who you are, the very essence of you. Think of that as a circle. You could even see it inside of you, perhaps as a circle around your heart, or just see it in your mind's eye and notice that, oh my gosh, it's lovely. It's your consciousness. And of course, some people, I happen to be one, thinks it's the part of you that never, ever dies. And also think of it as your connection to the divine, to your inner knowing, to your intuition, to your spirit. It's that connection, that precious connection. Now recognize that the fact that we have this, and also let me just say, I believe that every flower has it, and every bird has it, and my dog has it, and my cat. It's again what connects all of us. And think of this circle, your consciousness, as the opening through which something greater can come in and speak to you and work with you and work with your precious, unique consciousness. Think of it as a never ceasing flow of inspiration that we have available to us at any moment. So I'm wondering, what do you fill your circle with? What's in your consciousness? Maybe you're filling it right now, and boy, it would be understandable because of the state of the world, maybe with worries, maybe with resentment, sorrow, grief, fear, hunger for something, exhaustion, loss, doubt, anger, regrets, boredom, tension, conflict, disappointment. What's in there? What do you occupy? What occupies your thoughts most of the day? When you stand in line at the grocery store, are you tapping your foot, judging the people around you, envying them, feeling isolated, feeling sorry for yourself, feeling bitter? So imagine there's a drain in the sidewalk or in the gutter next to the sidewalk filled with debris. And the water coming off a rainstorm wants to go through there and it can't. It's creating this big puddle. That's what can happen to your circle. It can get clogged. Your consciousness, it can get clogged. Whatever it is you put in your circle either allows that stream of connection to the divine to flow through, or it blocks it. Your inspiration is always there, but you can keep it from reaching you by, you guessed it, filling your circle with fears and worries and regrets and shoulds and if onlys and wants and all your to-do lists and how busy you are and the yes buts and the assumptions you make that you don't even know if they're true. And then there's the whole what the ego adds into it, like I am okay because I am not okay. The comparisons, I'm not okay. I don't have what he has. I'm not okay because I'm too fat. I'm not okay because I'm not smart enough or good enough. I don't have a nice car and nice clothes and I'm never going to get ahead. I don't have the right job. Your circle then gets so muddied, so crowded, so clogged, so that you can't hear divine guidance or inspiration if it's coming into you. But you need to remember that you always have a choice of what you put in your circle, what you fill your sacred consciousness with. And we forget. We are so into it. And not only that, we surround ourselves, the people around us. What's the favorite thing to do is sit down next to somebody and commiserate. Oh, life, can you believe it? I mean, it can be just weather. Can you believe this weather? It's been raining for the past week. And that's okay. That's an observation. But how often do you talk about how much you hate the weather? My close relative, close relative of mine was just here complaining about how much he hated where he lived and how he just couldn't wait to get out of there. And it's so awful. And what's so bad about it? And I had to ask that person to stop because I questioned and asked the question, how is that helping you? I hear that you want to get out. Is it helping you to list all these grievances about it? No. But what does help is to turn it around and think instead about what you do want. But there's discipline involved. And also, you need to catch yourself doing it because it's so habit for most of us, me included, that you don't even realize you're doing it, that you're going down this litany of grievances until you kind of get better at paying attention to your thoughts and stop it and turn them around. So start noticing. That's the first step. What sort of things are filling your consciousness at any moment? What do your thoughts consist of? And is it more worries or is it more joys? So the things that help with this, if you want it to be more joys than worries, start keeping a gratitude list. 5 things every night before you go to bed or first thing in the morning that you're grateful for. It starts an engine of being thankful and what's good in your life. Journaling just helps you pay attention to what you're thinking all the time. Meditation, of course, helps you be a witness to your thoughts. It slows your thinking down so you can actually pay attention to what you are thinking. And remember, you have a choice. So again, my contention is that something greater is always speaking to us, but we just don't hear it. We're too busy, too hurried, looking for all the solutions outside of ourselves instead of getting quiet and connecting with something greater and asking, what do I need to do? So, of course, we need to slow down in order to do that. We have to find a way to separate ourselves from all that busyness because that's what's keeping us from hearing. And in nature, if you could be in nature, nothing in nature has a blocked circle. Your dog has something greater flowing through it at all times. That's why it feels so good and healing to be with animals. I go to the woods at least once in the North Maine woods, at least once a year, just to be in that immense quiet. And I always feel like I've been cleaned out every time I go up there. So how do you slow down and get quiet? Maybe by walking or driving long distances in the car or meditating, gardening. There's so many different ways. Laughter really opens your circle. And when you are truly in the present moment, if you can get there, your circle is open. It's not filled with anything except something greater. It's hard to get there in today's world, I know. But if you practice, then you'll start noticing your thoughts more and you'll be more aware of what you're putting into your circle so that you can then say, oh, I have a choice. So start noticing. Even if you're not consciously clearing out your circle, it can happen despite you. Something can happen. You can catch sight of some brilliant, beautiful fall tree that takes your breath away, or a bird, or some lovely experience can just come your way, and that will clear your circle. And sometimes I think this is just what grace is. When grace comes into your life, you haven't really even invited it in, but it comes to you. So for a moment, then you can let go and allow a far wiser something to come in and give you a nudge or a hint or just that feeling of, okay, everything's falling into place. So that's the concept of thinking of yourself, your essence as a circle with the power of the universe flowing through it, the power of the divine flowing through it. How to use it then more intentionally. You can simply be and know that you're connected in this way. You don't have to use it. You can just be aware of it, be grateful. It does its work without you if you don't get in the way, but we tend to always get in the way. But there are other ways to use the power of the circle. So it can be a tool for making a decision, for attracting what you want, a way to stay focused on your desired outcome. You can use it to place an order to something greater. In a way, that's prayer. Turning your problems over to something greater. So how would you use it for making a decision? This is the most everyday way to use a circle. You draw a nice big one on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, draw a big circle, and start on the outside by listing the things you don't want. So if you want a car, just using that as a very typical example, you've learned the things you don't want in a car. Maybe you don't want a gas-powered car. You don't want a big 4-door car. You don't want a car that takes a lot of maintenance. Everything you've learned, you don't want. And then on the inside, what are the things you're looking for? I don't know if you've ever had the experience where you've decided you want a certain type of car, like a blue Volkswagen, and you're really sure that's what you're looking for. You've kind of put it out there. And then what happens? You start seeing blue Volkswagens everywhere. So it's just the power of intention. You just start it, kind of your subconscious, something filters out those cars that you're not looking for and helps you find what you're looking for. Another way is to stay focused on your desired outcome. And this is what we call the law of attraction. What you focus on is what shows up. If you want to use it this way, then you put inside the circle what you want to show up in your life. But whatever the topic is that you're working with, you make sure that on the outside of the circle is where you put what you're not looking for, and you start there because that helps you get clear on what you do want. So this close relative of mine who's looking for a different place to live, he would then put on the outside of the circle the things that are driving him crazy about where he lives now. This being in a city, being in a condo building, having worries about security and safety, and having it be dirty, and all the things that aren't working for where he lives now. And then on the inside, turning it around to refocus his thinking on what he does want. Because as I said to him, as he was listing everything that was making him so unhappy about where he lives, what good does that do? What good does it do to put your energy into all that griping when you don't want it? And in a way, it's also what you focus on grows. So all that stuff will keep being in his life if he keeps talking about it and putting his focus there, his intention there, his energy there. So I encouraged him to do a circle, and I will tell you that finding a place to live, the kind of house you want, or the kind of place you call home, whether it be a house or an apartment or a condo or a boat, it works really well with the circle. And it's how I got to my home. And part of this too is that you put in the circle what you do want after thinking about what you don't want. And then you have to put yourself in the feeling place. If you can get your feelings going, like if this happened, that I found just what I wanted in a place to live, how would I feel? Because feelings have even more energy. It adds to it. So it's specifically what you're looking for and the feeling of how you would feel if you had it. And then you let it go and you don't try to think about how it's going to show up. And you don't allow yourself. So it's really a tool to help with your discipline. You find yourself focused on the outside, you immediately refocus to the inside of your circle. Sometimes I just cut away the outside and I take that circle and I put it up where I'm going to see it all the time. And here's another thing. Yes, it is a great focusing tool, but you can't focus on something that's not about you. So if you really want your son to get into a particular university, that's his circle, not your circle. This is something that you're working with, that you're wanting, or that you're trying to refocus in your life. So just an additional dimension to this. So we've talked about using it as a way to clarify what you want and what you don't want. But if you can actually use it as a way to picture that open drain, that open portal for the universe to come in and work with you as a partner, then I've found that that can really add to bringing things into your life that you want. So you're placing inside it what you're asking for, that universal, from that universal energy source, however you describe it. It's in a way you are ordered to the spiritual cook in the kitchen. And just like any cook, you place an order in a restaurant and then you don't go knocking on the door, asking if it's ready, how are you going to serve it, what kind of plate are you going to use. You just know that it will come and you just patiently wait. Sometimes maybe not so patiently. So this also works so well with people looking for a life partner. On the outside, you put what you have learned from experience you don't want in a life partner. And on the inside, what you are looking for. And then again, put your feelings. How will you feel when that person shows up? And again, you don't try to guess how and make assumptions how it's going to look. Most likely it will come up for you in a way that you can't even imagine. Usually what the universe does is give you an even better response than you could imagine. So it's always getting clear, focusing on what you want instead of what you don't want, turning it over and not obsessing about it, trusting that the answer will come. And of course, the very first thing is getting that channel clear. So you're having to let go of control. And that's hard. It's hard for us. So I would just remember that this is a tool that you can use when things get difficult, or anytime when you find yourself getting into that complaining place. Remember that there's a choice, that you can not put energy to that and put it to what you do want. And work on keeping the connection open, a way that you can clear yourself in nature, through walking, meditation, journaling, however. And then what you're going to put in the circle is what you want in your life. And you're going to wait and notice without attachment to any particular outcome, and trust and believe and be thankful. And some people use gratitude to thank even before it happens, even before it shows up. Just knowing that it will come can give a powerful boost to what you're asking for. Ralph Waldo Emerson, there is guidance for each of us, and by lowly listening, we shall hear the right word. Place yourself in the middle of the stream of power and wisdom which flows into your life. Then, without effort, you are impelled to truth and to perfect contentment. I hope something I've said today will help you. And I can tell you it's helped me, and it's helped many people who I've shared this with. And it's pretty simple. Just draw a circle and remember you have a choice of what you put in it. Thank you for listening. I look forward to having you tune in another time.